No one enjoys the gnawing discomfort of realizing they're being manipulated. The visceral churn in your gut when you recognize someone is pulling strings, not for your benefit, but to serve their own selfish agenda. Today, we're uncovering the raw truth about navigating relationships with manipulative individuals, particularly narcissists, who are experts at weaving webs of control and deceit. Rooted in Stoic philosophy, we'll explore how detaching from emotional turbulence allows us to see these situations clearly, as trials of resilience and wisdom. This isn't merely about identifying the shadowy tactics narcissists employ. It's about equipping you with tools to reclaim your inner peace and personal power. Here's the paradox. By withholding attention from those who crave it most, especially narcissists, you seize control of the dynamic. Stoicism teaches us the art of indifference, a powerful stance when dealing with forces beyond our influence, like the actions and attitudes of others. Ignoring a narcissist doesn't mean passivity. It means making a deliberate choice about where to invest your energy. You focus on what you can control: your reactions, your decisions, and where you direct your attention. Let's delve into what ignoring a narcissist truly entails. It's not about giving them the silent treatment or outright dismissal. It's about denying them the fuel they need to thrive. Narcissists feed on emotional responses. Your anger, frustration, sadness, all of it sustains their ego. When you withhold those reactions, you cut off their oxygen supply. Practice measured interactions, brief, functional, and devoid of personal engagement. Imagine yourself as an impartial observer, studying their behavior without attachment to its outcome. This objectivity disrupts the balance of power. Without your reactions to bolster their self-importance, narcissists begin to falter, leaving their attempts to dominate you increasingly ineffective. This approach aligns seamlessly with another Stoic principle: the reserve clause. This mindset reminds us that while we act with intention, we must accept that outcomes may depend on factors outside our control. In this context, it means engaging with a narcissist only out of necessity, never expecting to change or reform them. And here's the catch. When you start ignoring their manipulative games, don't be surprised if they escalate their efforts temporarily. They might double down, testing new strategies to provoke you. This is where your Stoic resolve is put to the test. The temptation to react, to defend, explain, or confront will arise. But remember this: every interaction feeds the cycle. Consistency is key. Your unwavering indifference becomes maddening for them, forcing them to grapple with their own emptiness. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." When you internalize this truth, you unlock profound strength. Practically speaking, setting firm boundaries is essential. Decide what behaviors you will tolerate and which ones you won't, and enforce those limits without wavering. If a conversation turns toxic or demeaning, step away. This isn't avoidance. It's safeguarding your mental clarity from someone else's chaos. Over time, this strategy diminishes the hold a narcissist has on you, reinforcing your autonomy and preserving your dignity. Boundaries, though often overlooked, are life-changing shields against manipulation. While Stoicism emphasizes cultivating internal boundaries, managing your emotions and responses, external boundaries are equally vital when dealing with narcissists. These boundaries define where you end and they begin, clarifying what's acceptable in your interactions and what isn't. By establishing clear expectations, you teach others how to treat you. This isn't simply about saying no or creating distance. It's about protecting your emotional and physical space, deciding what deserves entry and what doesn't. For narcissists, who view others as mere extensions of themselves rather than autonomous beings, encountering such defined boundaries can be profoundly destabilizing. And that's precisely why it works. By mastering the Stoic virtues of detachment, objectivity, and disciplined action, you not only shield your well-being, but also render yourself an unappealing target for their schemes. Embracing the Stoic philosophy of focusing solely on what we can control offers a transformative approach to navigating challenging relationships, particularly with narcissists. While you cannot dictate their actions, you hold complete authority over your responses and the standards you set for acceptable behavior. Establishing boundaries is not merely an act of self-preservation. It's a declaration of your values and a commitment to safeguarding your mental well-being. Imagine this. When a narcissist raises their voice or resorts to manipulative tactics, instead of reacting emotionally, you calmly assert your boundary. For instance, you might say, "I'm happy to continue this conversation once mutual respect is restored." Or, if respect seems impossible, you gracefully disengage altogether. These boundaries are not about exerting power over others, but rather about honoring yourself, your dignity, your peace, and your autonomy. As Seneca wisely noted, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. The fear of conflict that arises from setting boundaries is often far worse than the actual outcome. Once established, these boundaries become a fortress, shielding your inner tranquility from external chaos. The real challenge lies in maintaining consistency. Narcissists thrive on testing limits, probing to see if they can erode your resolve. This is where Stoic perseverance shines. Each time you reinforce your boundaries, you fortify your self-respect and demonstrate unwavering strength. Being firm does not mean being rigid. It means standing by your convictions with clarity and compassion. Equally crucial is knowing how to enforce your boundaries when they're breached. It's one thing to articulate your limits. It's another to act decisively when someone crosses them. If a narcissist attempts to guilt trip or manipulate you into compliance, enforcement may involve calmly reiterating your stance, stepping away from the situation, or seeking external support if needed. By doing so, you communicate that your boundaries are non-negotiable. They are lines drawn in the sand, defining what you will and will not tolerate. Setting boundaries is ultimately an empowering act of self-care. It allows you to protect yourself from manipulation, uphold your dignity, and reclaim agency over your interactions. This practice isn't about dominating or controlling others. It's about preserving your mental space, nurturing your peace, and affirming your autonomy. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that our distress often stems not from external events themselves, but from our perceptions of them. The beauty of this insight lies in its liberating truth. We possess the power to shift our perspective at any moment. By setting and upholding boundaries, we take ownership of our personal space and craft an environment that aligns with our values. We create a sanctuary of peace amidst life's turbulence. In relationships with narcissists, who crave constant validation to sustain their fragile egos, the stakes feel higher. Every compliment or acknowledgement you give serves as fuel for their insatiable need for admiration. However, withholding excessive validation isn't cruel. It's an exercise in emotional economy. By conserving your energy and protecting your resources, you ensure that your actions remain authentic and aligned with your principles. Stoicism teaches us the virtue of detachment, not out of coldness, but out of a desire to maintain integrity. When a narcissist seeks praise, offering neutral acknowledgement, such as, "I see you put effort into that," is both honest and sufficient. It avoids inflating their ego while staying true to your values. Navigating these interactions requires courage and consistency. Initially, the narcissist may push back, confused or frustrated by your refusal to play their game. But here again, Stoic wisdom provides guidance. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. By remaining steadfast in your boundaries, you cultivate resilience and reclaim your inner freedom. You prove to yourself, and perhaps even to them, that your worth is not contingent upon their approval. In doing so, you transform the dynamics of the relationship, creating healthier patterns rooted in mutual respect, or, if necessary, distance. Withholding validation is a transformative act that recalibrates the dynamics of your relationships, shifting them from dependence and manipulation to mutual respect. When approval isn't automatically given or undeservedly expected, you create space for authentic connections rooted in genuine understanding, rather than one-sided neediness. If this approach feels unfamiliar, start small. Observe when and why you offer validation. Are there moments when you feel pressured to praise someone out of obligation rather than sincerity? Begin reducing these instances and focus on fostering interactions that reflect your true feelings. The goal isn't to withhold kindness, but to disrupt unhealthy patterns and teach an invaluable lesson. Self-worth comes from within, not from external approval. By withholding validation, you demonstrate to both yourself and others, especially narcissists, that confidence doesn't stem from accolades. It arises from inner strength. This practice reinforces emotional autonomy and deepens your appreciation for self-respect. Confidence isn't about strutting into a room seeking admiration. It's about knowing your intrinsic value and living authentically from that place. Such virtue-based confidence serves as your strongest defense against narcissistic manipulation. It shields you from their attempts to undermine your sense of self because they thrive on uncertainty. When you stand firm in your worth, their tactics lose their power. While moments of doubt are inevitable, staying grounded in your values ensures you navigate them without losing sight of who you truly are. Start cultivating this unshakable confidence today by engaging in activities that align with your values and promote personal growth. Set meaningful goals. Challenge yourself and celebrate progress, not for external recognition, but for the person you're becoming. This journey toward emotional independence will protect you from toxic influences while creating room for balanced, respectful relationships. The more secure you become in your identity, the more you'll attract connections based on authenticity rather than control. Building a strong sense of self is one of the most empowering realizations you can achieve. It makes you resilient, unshaken by the opinions or manipulations of others, especially those who seek to exploit you. True happiness and success don't come from external validation, but from within. Independence isn't about isolation or rejecting connection. It's about crafting a life so rich and fulfilling that no single individual can define your worth or disrupt your peace of mind. Relationships then become beautiful additions, not the foundation of your identity. Stoicism reminds us that emotional well-being lies within our control. External circumstances, particularly toxic relationships, should never dictate your inner peace. By ceasing to rely on narcissists for validation, you dismantle the unhealthy power dynamics that once shaped your interactions. You reclaim your agency by pursuing passions, making independent decisions, and celebrating personal victories. Investing in your growth through education, wellness, or self-discovery sends a powerful message: I am capable, content, and complete on my own. Imagine constructing a life as sturdy as a fortress. Each achievement, each moment of self-discovery, becomes a brick in its foundation, fortifying your resilience. As you strengthen this structure, it becomes nearly impossible for anyone, even a narcissist, to shake the walls you've built. This fortified sense of self not only protects you from manipulation, but also empowers you to live boldly, authentically, and freely. The timeless principles of Stoicism, with their emphasis on self-reliance and virtue, offer a powerful framework for mastering your emotional responses. They teach you that true peace originates from within, untouched by the manipulative forces swirling around you. Challenges begin to transform in your eyes. They're no longer insurmountable barriers, but opportunities to test and strengthen your character. As you adopt this perspective, you shed the limiting identity of being a victim to someone else's control and step into your power as a resilient individual capable of navigating life's turbulence with grace. Stoicism equips you to remain steady even amid chaos, empowering you to confront even the most cunning individuals without surrendering your inner equilibrium. Practically speaking, it calls for recognizing what triggers you emotionally and preparing yourself to respond with unshakable composure. When faced with manipulative tactics, You refuse to let them derail your sense of calm. Tools like deep breathing, mindfulness, and staying grounded become essential allies, helping you maintain physical relaxation and mental clarity while reinforcing your resistance to external provocations. By cultivating equanimity, you learn to adapt like a mighty tree bending in a fierce wind, flexible yet unbroken. You allow the storms of conflict or manipulation to rage around you without uprooting your core. The more you practice staying serene under pressure, the stronger your emotional resilience grows, until external turmoil barely registers. Each moment of calm becomes a testament to your growing strength, and every challenge presents an opportunity to deepen your confidence. Not just in handling outward difficulties, but in trusting your ability to preserve your peace and integrity. This journey is one of profound self-discovery and growth, where every step forward represents progress. Every obstacle becomes a chance to fortify your resolve, proving that thriving doesn't hinge on waiting for the storm to subside. It's about learning to stand firm and composed through any tempest. By embracing these principles, you don't merely survive adversity, you rise above it, rooted in your strength and guided by your unwavering center. This is the path to true flourishing, even when facing the most challenging personalities.